man. Hey, you know, come on, man. It's not talking about during that time, because how you know it's not talking about that time when you go into Deuteronomy 28:68. Let's get that real quick. Deuteronomy 28:68, and the Lord, well, it says all caps will be Yahweh there, and Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt, which is Mizraim again, Marchazarium, again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. See, when it says, and there it says, thou shalt see no more again, meaning what? We want to see the land of Israel again. All right, so now, when we go into that history, you got the book called From Babylon to Timbuktu. This guy, he's the Israelite, Rudolph Windsor. He goes into that history with the disbursement of the Jews alone. That was who ran into the land of Ham, which you call Africa today. They was the ones that had ran into that 70 AD when you had the Romans that was besieging them, and they fled from Roman persecution. And so where they flee to in the interiors of Africa, let me get that book. Page 84. It's From Babylon to Timbuktu. I say his name is Rudolph Windsor. Rudolph R. Windsor. This is him.
Yo.
And let's see, read a little bit of this book. It says, to this statute, well, I have to start page 83. Get all that history. Okay, so it says, page 84, Babylon and Timbuktu, it says, I'm going to start at the third sentence of the first paragraph. It says, because of this religious persecution, the legitimate high priest Onias III and many other Jews fled into African countries such as Egypt, Ethiopia, and Cyrenaica, which is Libya. What's that happened? Matter of fact, when our Lord, when Yahweh Shah was born, the angel was it Gabriel? Let's get that. The angel Gabriel told him to flee into Egypt. Now let's get that. Okay, Matthew 2:1. Now when Yahweh Shah was born in Bethlehem of Judea, in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and are come to worship him. And when Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he demanded of them where Yahweh Shah should be born. And they said unto him, in Bethlehem of Judea, thus it is written by the prophet. verse 6, and now Bethlehem in the land of Judah art not the least among the princes of Judah. For out of these shall come a governor that shall rule my people Isaiah, which that's found in the book of to rule my people Israel. I'm sorry, that's found in the book of Isaiah, which Isaiah 9:6. It says, "For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder. And his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty Power, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace." So this is what Matthew was referring to. All right. Now let's go back to Matthew. Go down. It says Matthew 2 and 6, it says, "And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not the least among the princes of Judah, for out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel," which Isaiah was speaking of Yahushua, by the way. That's why I went to Isaiah. Let's bring out that precept real quick. That's what Matthew was speaking of. Again, it says, verse 8, he sent, verse 7. Then Herod, when he had privately called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, "Go and search diligently for the young child. And when ye have found him, bring me word again, that I may come and worship him also." Which, show he was a governor. All right, now. We're going to the part where let's jump down to verse 12. Verse 12, "And being warned of the Most High in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed into their own country another way. And when they departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise and take the young child and his mother and flee into Egypt. And be thou there until I bring thee word. For Herod it's like I want to make sure that now has thing with my fire truck. I'll read it again. Verse 13 again. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise and take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt, and be thou there until I bring thee word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. And it says, when he arose, he took the young child and his mother by night and departed into Egypt. So, again, what I'm reading in Babylon 2 proves that Israelites went to the land of you call it the land you call Africa, which is the land of Ham. You got Israelites going into there, man. Right? You got a place called Alexandria, Egypt. You look up Alexandria, Egypt, or look up the history of the Jews population in Alexandria, Egypt. They had a great size of community there. All right. It says, back into Babylon 2. Throughout the last 2,500 years, the main factors that have contributed to the social migration of the Jews were wars, religious persecution, and commerce. All these factors were operating and gave rise to the African Jewish population, which That's going to the fact that they was, basically African Jewish population means that you have Israelites or Jews that live in the land called Africa, which is, again, the land of Ham. All right? You can Google the land of Ham and it'll show you. All right? It'll show you what the land of Ham is, or where it is. The continent you call Africa, man. And that's a cut to all you, it's a cut to all you simple-minded Negroes out there that, that's the motherland. No, man. We served captivity as a whole nation. We were made a nation in the land of Ham under the Egyptians, and then at times Israelites fled into the land of Ham, or the land of Africa. All right, that's it, man. It says, second paragraph, in the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem. In 70 AD, General Vespasian and his son Titus put an end to the Jewish state with great slaughter. But you go into history, it was Vespasian and his son Titus, and then I mentioned that guy Tiberius Julius Alexander, which is an Israelite, so-called Negro. Right? They besieged Jerusalem, and they was able to successfully defeat the Jews that were at Jerusalem, man. All right, so this is all history, man. And this is all history. And what happened? It says, during the period of the military governors of Palestine, many outrages and atrocities were committed against the residue of the people. You even had this guy, I know his name, Josephus. I don't know how it just slipped my mind at the time. But Josephus, the journals or the writings of Josephus go into that history as well, man. Okay? That's a good book to read because Josephus wrote down the accounts of the atrocities that was going on at that time. It says, during the period from Pompey to Julius, it has been estimated that over 1 million Jews fled into Africa, fleeing from Roman persecution and slavery. The slave markets were full of black Jewish slaves. And then it goes into quote a scripture. It says, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even to the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. And it mentions Deuteronomy 28:68. All right, so this guy Rudolph Windsor, all right, he's an Israelite, by the way. He knows he got into the history, man, and learned that history, man. So I was when we go in this book was I was in Deuteronomy 28:68. It says that thou shalt see no more again, in the land of Israel, because from there, the land of Ham, they fled to the interiors of Africa, the west coast and north of Africa, right? Mainly the west coast, because the interiors mean the uttermost parts, all right? Which is far from the land of Israel, right? From there, they were brought over on slave ships, man. Let's go into that history. Let's go. I gotta bring out Joel. Joel, chapter 3, I'm going right to the point. Joel 3:6 says, the children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, which are Edomites, so-called white people. And when you go into that history, it was really the so-called Jews, man, that did that. The Jewish people that did that, man. All right? It was the top elites of the house of Esau, Edom, man. They don't want to finance the slave trade, the transatlantic slave trade, you know? Right? That's history that they don't want to talk about, man. Right? That's history they don't talk about. They get this annual money from all these different countries, all right? All these millions and billions of dollars, right? From all these different countries. Well, why have those people pay for the the things they've done to the children of the tents of Judah, man?
What's going on, man?
All right, now. All right. They the ones that like I said, they the ones that financed it and had Judah, Benjamin, Levi rounded up. Like the lady was here, I let her speak. I wanted to get out, go about her business, really, because she won't quit talking. You know, but she's not good for that, by the way. I was wondering. My first mind was to say, hey, she kept the gap. It's like she was like, I don't know, because the dispensary right here across the street, she probably was like higher her mind, you know what I mean? So, just according to her, she could be Israelite, but hey, she got an order though, man. I just let her talk, she get all on my way, man, you know? That's why I kind of, just talk a little bit and then get on out the way, you know? Sometimes you gotta do that because I'm seeing with the implication, man. But, like I said, the so-called Jew is the one that did this to the children of Judah and of Jerusalem, because they're the ones that financed the slave trade, the transatlantic slave trade, and brought southern tribes over here on slave ships, man. All right? That's some history that they refuse to go into or admit to. Some of them admit to it, they say there's only a few of them. When, come on, man. The transatlantic slave trade in itself was a huge fucking deal, man. That's a huge big deal, man. That ain't goddamn just was it something light that just happened. No, that was huge, man. All right, now it says the children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have you sold unto the Grecians that you might remove them far from their border. Now when they fled in 70 AD. And they fled to the interiors of Africa, which is West Coast mainly, and some parts of North Africa, and even some South, right? You go into the actual history, right? They were still close to their border. Now, what will make them far from their border is to bring them across the waters, which is the Atlantic Ocean, over here to the land you call the Americas, North, Central, and South America, man. That would be removing them far from their borders. Says the children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have you sold unto the Grecians that you might remove them from their border, that you might remove them far from their border. Verse 7. Because like I said, if you take someone from the I ain't gonna say someone, you take the tents of Judah from the land of Africa, the land formerly or originally the land of Ham. And like I said, bring them over here. Well, the land of West Africa, North Africa, they can travel by land to the land of Israel. You can travel by foot, horse, whatever, what have you, horse and carriage, what have you. They can travel by land to the land of Israel. But since you run across the waters into over here, that's removing them far from their borders, man. All right, now, verse 7 it says, behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. See? And that's going to happen, man. The Lord's going to repay you, you Edomites, you Hamites, and you Ishmaelites that was involved with doing that. And even you sell out Israelites that helped them, man. All right? Because the whole thing was, Africans, Africans. Man, look at, first of all, so-called Negroes and so-called Africans are two totally different races of people, man. Two totally different races of people. All right? That's a world-known fact, man. Now, there are certain parts of the land of Africa you can go to and find, Israelites, like I'm mentioning the west coast of Africa. parts of the north, parts of some of the south. All right. But Judah, according to the history, Judah was sold indiscriminately into the four corners of the earth, man. They were sold into all these different lands, man. Right? So, again, Deuteronomy 28:68 is talking about the transatlantic slave trade, which is undeniable. All right, now we go into the history of us northern tribes. You got books like James Adair, which it's an expensive book to get. So if you rock him out there to get it, it's kind of expensive. They try to make it hard for you to buy it, But it's a good book, man. James Adair, which I believe he was an Israelite because he was Scottish. He lived among us. I believe he lived among Gad, though. If I'm mistaken, it's been a while. I believe he lived among Gad for the most part. He observed what Gad was doing and the customs they would keep. And James Adair wrote down everything in his book, and he said that these people speak an ancient Shemitic language. And then the customs that they would, he said he observed Gad keeping was customs like the first fruits. I mean, it was keeping the Passover. He recorded that, which we just kept the Passover. All right, the Passover week, you go eat your unleavened bread, and you have your lamb, your bitter herbs, and your wine, and all right, and you read the Torah. All right, and then other precepts, other prayers. I'm sorry, prayer. So you can read in the Hebrew and English, whichever one that you learned in. But Gad was keeping these customs, and James Adair observed that he knew that. He knew that what? That they were of ancient Shemitic people, man. All right, and then you go into history, man. You go into history of it's all in the scriptures. You know what? I get it, man. I ain't gotta mention it. This is all part of the Great Awakening, You can't stop this. Is the truth, man. That's how they found us, man. Using the Bible, and the Lord guiding them over here, to find this land. St. Elmo's fire is one of the good history. One of the good history or historical events to get into or read up on. Let me get precept. Get that too. Second Ezra 13 and 40. It says, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hoshea, which is Hoshea, the king, whom Salmanasar, the king of Assyria, led away captive. And he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. So you can find in history what's that? Let me go some history too. Because during that time period, kingdom of the Syrians, good for history, but during that time period, you had Shalmaneser, which was the kingdom of the Syrians, which I believe it was Shalmaneser the fifth. That was the one that carried us from our lands and took us into the land of Assyria. First Kings. Second Kings, I'm sorry. 2 Kings 17:1. It says, 2 Kings 17, verse 1. In the 12th year of Ahaz, king of Judah, began Hoshea, the son of Elah, to reign in Samaria over Israel 9 years. So this is the same thing that Esdras is talking about. Because it goes on to say, verse 2, and he did that which was evil in the sight of Yahweh, but not as the kings of Israel that were before him. Against him came up Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, and Hoshea became his servant and gave him presents. And the king of Assyria found conspiracy in Hoshea, where he had sent messengers to So, king of Egypt, and brought no present to the king of Assyria, as he had done year by year. Therefore the king of Assyria shut him up and bound him in prison. It says, then the king of Assyria came up throughout all the land and went up to Samaria and besieged it 3 years. In the 9th year of Hoshea, the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel away into Assyria and placed them in Halah and in Habor by the river of Gozan and the cities of the Medes. So this is what Esdras is going into. All right, now let's go back to second Esdras. Like I said, that was King Shalmaneser the fifth. All right, which is all part of history. Just showing you us northern tribes that we came over to the Americas, you know them as today, before the tents of Judah got here, man. Which you go into that time, I believe it was like 722 BC, where Shalmaneser, or a little earlier than that, I'll say about 720, when they started to, come up against us. And I believe it was 724 BC where they actually, the year they took us over, man, to the land of Assyria. It says, 2nd Esdras 13 to 40. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land at the time of Hoshea the king, whom Shalmaneser the king of Assyria led away captive. And they carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. And the waters there was, I believe it was Euphrates. Look at the map. I got a map pulled up. Let's go. I got to see the river real quick. Not that one. Maybe 1 second as I find it. You got the Jordan River there as well. Jordan River, you got the Euphrates, Lake Tiberias there. So yeah. You know, just geographical location sense. You just You can actually look up the names of these different cities in the land of Syria. It'll show you maps and the names are called by the day as well. So let's go from there. 2 Ezra 13 and 41. But they took this counsel. Oh, I ain't finished that. So those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land at the time of Hoshea the king, whom Salmanassar the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so they came into another land. Now, let's go to Deuteronomy 29 and 28. I forget the Hebrew word there. I'm going to pull up real quick. The Hebrew word there. The land, Deuteronomy 29, 28. Let me look it up real quick so I can get the word right. I'm going to get it right. Write it down. It says, the word there should be Akar, Aratazah, another land, Akar, Aratazah, if I'm pronouncing it right. Because Akar means another, and land is Aratazah. It's like land or earth. The word Aratazah. It says, 2 Ezra 13 and 41. But they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. And during that time, everybody was on the other side of the earth, all right, which was called the known world, because this is referred to as the unknown world. But you go into history, which I'm not going to go, but you can look at your own time. During the time of King Solomon, his navy would come across here, okay, and bring back different resources to King Solomon, man. So you can go to the history of your own.